Okay, so today I want to share with you about your second trip to Korea. So you went to the court, let's say 5-6 weeks ago, you flew out to Korea, you went to the court, and the court gives, I think, 2 weeks for the birth parents, to come and say, no, I don't want him or her adopted out, and I will take them back. So, the first time you go to Korea, you meet the baby, you take pictures and videos, don't upload it onto any social media or anything like that, because you really don't know what's gonna happen in 5 to 6 weeks. They said rarely ever birth parents will come forward and say no, do not adopt them out, but it does happen, so I suggest you don't upload anything like that. Your second visit, okay? I will tell you step by step what to do. As I shared on your first trip to Korea, now the agency gets back to you and says, you know what, the court processed all the paperwork. This is your date that you can pick up your babies, then come. As soon as you get that news, you contact your health insurance and add your baby onto the health insurance plan, because as soon as you come back to the States, they're gonna need to either get vaccines, or if anything happens, you're gonna have to take them to the hospital. So you want them on your insurance plan. Give them their full name and things like that. And so that's one thing to do. Oh, by the way, when we brought Levi home, within 3 weeks, we got his social security card in mail. And I was so impressed. I was like, wow, they're pretty fast with paperwork even during this whole COVID, because he came March of 2020. And then about 2.5 months after he came, we got his citizenship, the naturalization certificate, in mail again. So these things happen pretty quickly, and again, I'm very impressed how fast they worked. So these are some things to look out for in your mail, okay? Now your second trip to Korea, as I explained on your first trip to Korea, take the adapter, travel adapter, because the voltage is different in Korea. Contact your credit card companies to make sure you let them know that you are going and traveling to Korea. And then contact your phone company to make sure you get the roaming service in Korea. Okay, so get these 3 things done. Now you get to the airport, Incheon Airport, and again, you exchange money, okay? And because of your first time, you've done this, so now you know how to get into Seoul, whether by cab, bus, or subway system, okay, into Seoul. So now you've got that taken care of. I think when you go the second time though, instead of a hotel room, you should get Airbnb, because with Airbnb, it's it's not so small like a hotel room. I guess it has pros and cons, okay? I'm Korean, so what we like to do was, try local eateries around, but if you're American, maybe the hotel food is easier for you, like hotel Korean breakfast or hotel buffet. And every hotel has American breakfast and Korean breakfast buffet. So, but I think it is a lot more expensive at hotels. So these are some things, pros and cons, that you can think about. Also, as I explained before on the first trip, contact the videographers ahead. And like I said, I know some people, if you want, if you want me to introduce someone to you, we use some people too. So I think it's just nice that in the video, it's, the camera's not going everywhere, it's more organized, and you are both in the video as you pick your baby up. I think that's important, and so because this is the only memory the baby will have as they are leaving Korea, and I think it's very important. So it's something definitely for you to think about. Once you pick up the baby, the next day, you will go to the immigration office, okay? And, well, we did the next day, but I don't know how it's gonna work for you. They, I think, give you a choice. You can meet at the agency or you can meet at the immigration office. For us, the Airbnb we got was so much closer to immigration office than the agency. So we went straight to the immigration office, and when you go, you will see your group waiting outside, or we were the first ones there, but as we waited, all these families started coming with the babies that they had, picked up, adopted, And so you wait for the social worker, and she takes everybody into the immigration office. Once you get in, you know, they have the little windows, so each couple gets called up to the window and they get all your information from you. Then you sit back down, and then eventually they call your name again, and then when they call you, they will give you the baby's passport. It's a Korean passport, so once you get into the States, you are going to have to get an American passport with his citizenship certificate that you get in the mail. Once you get your passport, you can leave the immigration office, and you're free to do whatever you want after that. But if you are a first-time parent, I want to give you some tips, okay? When you go to the immigration office, make sure you take your diaper bag, because you don't know how long you're gonna be staying there. We only had 4 couples when we went to the immigration office, and because 2 other couples from Australia were coming a couple days later. So, but we were there, I don't know, maybe about an hour or so, but the more people you have, the longer time it's gonna take. So in your diaper bag, make sure you carry the diapers, wipes, and a water bottle for the baby, like something like this. You know, remember the babies, they have a hard time drinking out from a cup. If you're a first-time parent, I'm giving you these tips because, and then they're gonna spill it all over. So you want to have something like this. Take some snacks, take some bakery bread, whatever it is. If you stay long, they might get fussy. So take extra pair of clothing. Sometimes, even with diaper on, we call it the blowout, okay? Like they poop so much, the pants get all like poop all over or things like that. You have accidents here and there, so you always want to carry extra pair of clothing and some simple toys and some bubbles too, okay? On the first trip video, I showed you some bubbles that we took to Korea. Take that on your second trip too, because when you pick up your baby, you want to kind of distract him with that. And also when you go to the immigration office, take some of that and some toys as well. When we went to the immigration office with 4 families, it was wild. The kids, you know, some of them, the parents got them the day before. And one parent, I feel so sorry for them because they got the baby literally like an hour or 2 before the immigration appointment. So this baby had just met the parents. He can't communicate at all, and he was crying, he was screaming, and the parents were having a hard time. And so it's just helpful to have food and toys around when you go to the immigration office, okay? Okay, actually, first off, I want to explain some items that you need to take to Korea when you go to pick up your baby, and then I'll tell you what happens at the agency when you pick up your baby. But some items you want to take, as I explained on the first video, you want to take the passport book, you want to carry the passport and all the important documents with you everywhere. Okay, so you want to take this. When you go to Korea, I suggest any baby items you need, buy it from the States and take it to Korea. The reason being is, you know, in America, we have Target, Walmart, these big stores everywhere, and you can Google it and you just go there. But in Korea, it's not like that. China as well. I've been to China, I've been to Japan. It's not like the States, okay? So they have these tiny stores, almost like 7-Eleven, but like these stores are like half the size of 7-Eleven, and they have it everywhere, every corner in the city. So if you want to go to like big department stores, it's, you know, some ways off. And then if you're in the middle of the city, it's probably very close by, right? Okay, but because you don't have a car, you're carrying all this back to your hotel and Airbnb. You can get a cab, but cab drivers get mad if your hotel is very close to like whatever store you're at. So for example, you don't want to carry all these stuff back to the hotel. So you try to get in the cab, and the cab driver sees the address and sees it's only like 2-minute drive. Then they don't really want to take you on. So that's why I'm suggesting that you take whatever you can from the States, because when you pick up the baby, it's gonna be rough. And you're not gonna have, especially as a first-time parent, like you are not going to have the capacity to try to juggle all this. So I just want to help you get organized. I'm gonna show you some items that you can take from here. By the way, if you are missing anything, you can go to any big department stores on their, each department store has a grocery store section, which is huge, just like, you know, here in the States. So you have that option, or you can go to what's called an E-Mart. It's just E, the letter E, Mart, like Walmart, E-Mart, and that's kind of like their Walmart of Korea. So you would have to Google that. At least that was there when I was in Korea a while ago. I don't know if that name changed or what happened, but at least that was where we went for like the Walmart kind of thing, okay? So let me introduce you some items that you take to Korea. All right, so the first is a backpack, okay? Now, as a mom, you are going to be a first-time mom and you like these cute diaper bags. Okay, forget about all that when you travel. You are going to need 2 sets of hands, okay? 4 hands when you first pick up the baby. The first few days, it'll be very rough in Korea as they are grieving, and then you're learning to be a first-time parent. So you always want to have your hands free for any situation. So diaper bag. Just take a backpack and use that as a diaper bag, okay? Now, in your diaper bag, you want to take the water bottle from the States, okay? That's important. Also, you want to carry a baby formula from the States. Now, I really like this brand, the Baby Only brand. I order these from online, or you can pick these up from Whole Foods or Sprouts or things like that. I think the reason why is their sugar content is lower. I think much lower than other brands out there. Like Similac, the sugar content was crazy. It was literally like feeding your child sugared water. That was it. And so I try to look for lower sugar content. So that's what I took like 1 of this to Korea. But depending if you are staying in Korea for a longer period, I say you take a couple of these. This is plant-based, but this brand has all sorts of, you know, they have dairy, they have, you know, all sorts of stuff that you need, so you can definitely check them out. And now, when you give the baby a formula, by the time you pick them up, they're going to be around 16 months to, because of COVID, everything is backed up. They may be up to like 2.5 years old, and some of them will be off formula, but some of them are still on formula and still eating on formula and then eating solid food too at the same time. Levi, the first 3-4 days, he really wasn't eating much. He would eat maybe like 2-3 spoons and then he wasn't eating anything because he was grieving. And then when he got to the States, he was just having massive food obsession. So when he wasn't eating, he was maybe eating like 1 bottle of formula a day, which was very sad. And even on the plane, he wasn't eating anything. He was just, you know, just taking the formula 1 bottle. But even that, he wasn't finishing it. But when we met at the immigration office, the other families, they were like, oh, our kid was eating so much at the hotel. So each baby is different. So you want to get ready, okay? And the foster mom at the agency, you know, she gives you a big bag of kids' stuff. So because I had sent him gifts, clothes, toys, like whatever stuff I had sent him each month for a couple months, she brought all of that. Now, if you haven't sent him anything, then I don't think the bag would have been that big. But what I did was I just gave all that stuff back to her because she has, it sounds like, I know she had another baby, not only Levi. So she usually has 2 kids with her. And so I just said, you know, like just, I mean, they're pretty brand new items, you know, and so just use it for your future with other babies. So I just gave it back to her. But if you want them back, yeah, like you can bring them back. But if you want to tell the foster mom, you know, just keep it, like she will do that too. So I took a couple extra set of clothing for Levi to Korea. And other than what you sent her, I think she gave me like 1 or 2 pairs of clothes other than what he was wearing. So however many days you're staying in Korea, that's not going to be enough. So I suggest that you take some clothing from here if you haven't sent him anything. And the Airbnbs, you want to look for the one with the washer and dryer. And Korea is you don't have a separate washer and dryer. Usually the Airbnbs have like a very simple washer. It looks like a washer on the outside, but it's actually works as a washer and a dryer, and you would have to learn how to work that. But the dryers don't, from our experience, we've stayed at multiple Airbnbs, and the dryers don't really work well. I don't think it's the dryer problem. I think it's more the electric heat problem, and so you have to dry it multiple times, and if not, you just take it out and then air dry it, and so that is one option. Most Koreans will only use washer and then air dry all their clothes, so that's something to think about. The foster mom, when you go, she gives you the formula, but just enough for one day, like 3 more times. Okay, we picked him up at 4 o'clock, but she gave us this formula little container where there were 3 stacks, and each stack had for 3 different times where he can eat formula. You just mix it with water. Oh, by the way, if you are a first-time parent, especially Korean babies, okay, no mom gives them just room temperature or cold water formula. You always want to mix it with half cold and half hot to make it warm. So make sure the formula you give them is warm, or else they're gonna be like, what in the world is this? They're gonna be pretty shocked. The foster mom does give you 1 bottle, okay? And I brought that, but I wanted to show you what I used with Seth and Ezra that I really liked. This is called the Komotomo Bottle, okay? And it looks like this. And it's very squishy. What I really like about this bottle is, hold on. Okay, so most bottles, you need this to wash all the milk that's inside, okay? But Komotomo Bottle makes it so easy where when you open it, you can stick your hand in or stick the dishcloth in and then wash it fully. So you don't have to carry this around everywhere with you. So I highly recommend that if you're planning on staying in Korea for a week or a couple more days, take one of these and it'll be so much easier for you. If you have never washed this before, I want you to know that there's a way to wash it. You wash this first, and then you take the cap off, you wash this, then this one, every bottle, it doesn't matter what brand, this comes out, okay? So make sure you wash every edge, because you don't want any milk in there, and then if it goes bad, then the baby's gonna get sick. So make sure you do that, and then when you put it back, when it dries, you have to make sure every side clicks, or else you're gonna have milk spilling from everywhere. So that's one thing I wanted to share. When you are on the plane, when you go on the plane, or even when you are just walking around with the diaper bag, you don't want to carry this whole formula around, okay? But you don't want to carry the container around too, because honestly, that plastic container, it's a little heavy, because it adds up what goes in your backpack. So what I do is I get the little Ziploc bags, and if it says put 2 spoons or 3 spoons of it per bottle, I usually put, when I first picked up Levi, I would do, instead of 2 spoons, 3 spoons, I would put 5 spoons or 6 spoons of formula, because in the beginning they're grieving and I want to make sure that he's well fed. So that's what I did. And then the blander it is, they don't like. So I just give extra scoops to make it a little bit tastier for them in the beginning for comfort level. The foster mom also gave these. Okay, these are child cup, and she also gave spoon and fork of the same brand, and also she gave a toothbrush. Okay, so you can take maybe a baby toothpaste, or just in case if she doesn't give you a baby toothbrush. By the way, their teeth are coming out at this time. I think by 2.5, they have most of their teeth out, but at 16, 17 months, they're not done having the teeth coming out, so they might be teething too. So in that case, they may be a little more irritated. So you want to keep that in mind. this character, do you see this character? This is Pororo, okay? This is Pororo. This is like the Mickey Mouse of Korea. So every Korean item will have Pororo on it, even their YouTube, every cartoon, it'll have Pororo. So much stuff in Pororo stuff. So, you know, some people on YouTube had commented, well, you should have just showed him YouTube. But honestly, Levi was not that into TV, and when he was grieving, I did show him some of it and he just wasn't even interested. And the foster mom told me herself that he's not really interested in TV at that age, so that wasn't something that we, you know, worried about. Diapers, okay? You want to take, depending on how many days you're staying, you want to take enough diapers. Now, this is size 5 diaper. You are going to get a medical report on your paperwork and it'll tell you how much they weigh. And depending on how much they weigh, you will know the right diaper size to get. So you can go grab diapers from Target, Costco, wherever, okay? And you want to take the right size to Korea. Like I said, in Korea, you know, you're gonna have a harder time finding these big stores. So that means, you know, it's just harder when you pick him up trying to go to the store and find all this. So just take all of this from the States. She did give me a couple diapers, but that would have only lasted me like a couple hours. And she did give me some wipes, but I just gave it back to her because I took enough wipes. So these are some wipes. I took, I think, 2 big ones of these, and it was enough. Now, these are training diapers. Maybe your medical chart will show if he is potty trained or if he is still in diapers. Most kids that we met at the immigration office were still in their diapers. I don't think any kid was potty trained yet. And even if they are potty trained at this time, they are going through so much. So that means there's gonna be a lot of accident, PM poop. If you're a first time parent, it's gonna be hard for you, like cleaning all that PM poop, but it is gonna be part of your life. You are gonna be touching that poop every day, a couple times a day, so you need to come to accept that, okay? And the training diapers are easy because it just works like an underwear, right? You just like pull it down, and if they didn't pee, then you pull it back up. If not, then you can also just rip this and it just comes off like a diaper, so you don't have to take their pants off and then take this off. So training diapers, this also has all different sizes, so you want to make sure you take the right size to Korea. Now, when you're in Korea, you can pick up something like this, maybe on your first trip. I say grab a couple of these. These are training chopsticks. Okay, our kids love using these. You stick your hand like this, okay, and you grab stuff, and Levi likes using these too. So sometimes these fall apart. We had to throw like 2 or 3 away because these came loose, but so grab a couple of these when you're in Korea. They do sell it on Amazon too, but they sell these all over Korea. Another thing that I want you to take to Korea is this, a bib, okay? There's a couple of these when they're eating. These are meal bibs, so it falls right into here. You can get these from Amazon, and these will come so handy, okay? You can just wipe it off a wipe or just wash it and then, you know, hang it to dry after each meal. But, you know, Levi, when he came at 16 months, and even now at 23 months, it's a hot mess when he's eating. Food goes everywhere, clothes gets dirty. So everywhere I go, I take this with me, and then he always keeps this on when he's eating. So this is very helpful. So something that you should definitely take. And like I stated, I think I showed you this the first time on the first video of your first trip. So get something like this if you see in Korea. You can carry this around in your diaper bag. All Korean food that you're gonna feed him, in the beginning, it's gonna be warm food. They like ice cream, but their main food, you want to give them something warm and hot, especially during this grieving process. You don't want like cold stuff going in their body. You know, I'm an acupuncturist, and when Levi first came, his hands and cold were freezing for about like first couple months, and it didn't matter. His body, everywhere else is warm, but just his hands and feet were so cold. And that let me know that he wasn't having enough blood circulation going on because he's just so anxious inside. And eventually, a couple months later, his feet and hands became warm again. So, you know, in that state, you give them cold food, and that's just not very helpful. So this is something handy. The foster mom does give you some food, like instant food or, you know, packed dry food, and yeah, use that first couple of days. And the first trip, remember I told you to buy these Korean food stuff? Definitely have that in your pantry at home, so as soon as you bring you home, you can make him some Korean food. The foster mom will give you a spoon and fork. These I got from Target, but she will give you a spoon and fork that's this brand too. At least mine did, and I assume you'll get one too. As I explained, in your diaper bag, you always want to carry, you know, clothes, and you want to have like at least a couple in hand when you go to Korea to pick him up, if you haven't sent him anything. And these in Korean is called han-bok. Okay, all Korean kids wear these, and David and I found a really good place to buy all these for a pretty good price. And if you message me, I'll let you know where we got them in Korea. It's pretty easy to find it. These han-bok, it's 100% cotton, and it's very soft cotton. And as I explained on the first video, Korean cotton's amazing. And you have to ask them, is this from Korea or it's from China? Because it's definitely different. I've noticed difference. Some are nylon, so you want to make sure to open it and feel it. And then the pants, you see these like bands. It's very thin, so it's very easy to change them. And all Korean kids wear these at home because it's so comfortable. It's almost like a comfy pajama that they love to wear, and all Korean moms use. Make sure when you go to Korea, take some socks. If it's cold, the foster mom will give you like a jacket and like one pair of shoes that he's wearing. But if you are planning on staying longer in Korea, I say take extra pair of shoes or something like that. Now, this is very important. This is Passy, okay? This is a Passy Clip. You see this? Okay, it opens like this, and you can clip it on like this, okay? If you are a first-time parent, kids, for their comfort, they do two things. Either suck their thumb or either use Passy. Seth and Ezra suck their thumb. Levi is a Passy. And you want to make sure before you go on Amazon and grab these Passy clips, because as they are grieving and screaming or a tantrum, whatever they're doing due to grieving, you are going to be looking for this Passy everywhere, and you're not gonna find it, and you're gonna be so frustrated. Where is that Passy? Especially in the airplane, where is that Passy? And if you clip it on him, you will never have a problem, because as soon as he has tantrum, you can stick this in his mouth, and sometimes he'll just spit it out and cry, but sometimes he'll take it. So make sure to take like 2 or 3 of these clips. And then the foster mom did give me like 2 or 3 of these, but I just took like 1 or 2 extra just in case. So that's something that you should take. Now I want to talk about the Ergo, okay? This is the Ergo baby. This is a baby carrier. So I wish my kids were home right now, but David took them out, and this works like this. And this goes around your waist. This is a baby carrier, okay? This is called the Ergo 360. So you wrap it around, and then you clip the neck and you clip the back. The Ergo 360 is actually pretty expensive. It ranges anywhere between $140 to $180 depending on what you get. But it is one of the best carriers out there because most carriers put the weight on the shoulders. So if you are carrying him all around the city, your shoulders are gonna start killing you. But with Ergo, all the weight goes to your waist. So as long as you have a strong waist, it's not that bad, okay? What's nice about Ergo 360 is the baby can be face in, so you can be holding him like this, where you're looking at his face. Okay, when he's sleeping, you just cradle him. But when he wants to look out the city and he's bored, you flip him around so he's looking out. Now you can also put it around your back like this, and he can be on your back. And you see plenty of parents doing that too. So there's a couple ways to carry the baby. I highly suggest you get one of these, and if not, maybe your friends or, you know, maybe they're not using one that they can let you borrow, because Levi is now gonna be 2 years old in like 3-4 weeks, and you know, at that age you don't really put them too much on an ergo carrier, so you don't want to pay like $140, $180 and then just use it for a couple months and then not have to use it. But he can definitely still go on it. Like he can still go on this maybe till he's like 2.5 to even 3 years old if they're not like a big baby. So I think at the airport or wherever you go, this is, you saw on our second video, Gotcha Day, the second video, like we were carrying him everywhere on this. So definitely it calms him down more than when you put them in the stroller. Another thing that I wanted to share was the stroller, okay? I hope this video, okay. So I have this stroller here. We have a couple strollers. We have a baby jogger, we have different ones, but we like this for travel. This is very easy and light, okay? It opens like this. And flip it on, okay? Now, what you want to get is this little clip. You can get this from Amazon, okay? And this can go on any kind of stroller. Because this is a small stroller, you don't have that much room on the bottom here to put stuff. So you put your diaper bag or backpack or camera bag, whatever, you clip it on, and you can get like 1 or 2 of these and have it on the other side as well, and that's very helpful. And on Amazon, because we are such avid travelers, we have these for our car seats and our strollers. You can get these back from Amazon. It's called, oh, I guess it doesn't have, oh yeah, it's right here. It's called the stroller check gate bag from Amazon, and it's because you take the strollers all the way to where you go in the airplane, okay? And right before you get in the plane, you know how you go down that airplane walkway, and then right before you get into the plane, you drop off your stroller on the side, and then when you land, they put it back out there, and then you grab it and then you come out. But if it's raining or there's, you know, snow or things like that, and as they are carrying the stroller back and forth to different places, it does get ruined. So that's why David and I always put our strollers in this bag. And we have nice strollers, like the joggers are very heavy, and it's just so cumbersome when you're traveling. So we use these. Now, if you are, now let's say the COVID is over and you are in Korea, you want to carry the baby ergo everywhere. Maybe one parent can use a baby ergo and then the other parent can use a backpack and as a diaper bag. You can take the subway and it's fine. But if you are taking the baby on a subway and you don't have an ergo but just a stroller, I highly suggest don't take the subway, just take a cab everywhere, because you know, with subway, there's elevators everywhere, but it's just not in the most prime locations. Like we were looking everywhere for elevators, and there is elevator, but it's just hard to find it. Not easy to find it, you know, at different subway stations. So it was just getting very cumbersome. And then of course, like I explained, you know, taxi cab drivers don't like it when you take forever, like folding and unfolding the strollers. So that's why I say take a small and easy one, and that will be very helpful. Now, the foster mom gifts. Oh, the day that you pick him up, you sign the papers, and you have very short amount of time because they have other adoptive families coming, like they schedule them back to back, I think. So you go, you meet him, you sign the paperwork, and then the ECWS president like prays for the baby, and then you leave. And the agency prepares a bus for you. I mean, not a bus, a minivan for you, and then the minivan will take you straight to the hotel or Airbnb when you give him the address. And everything just happens so quickly, you know? And that's why I say just hire a videographer. It's not too expensive at all. So, you know, you don't really have this like ample time to say goodbye to foster mom and things like that. So because I can write in Korean, I wrote her a letter, and as I explained, I got her a gift. I got her a Kate Spade bag and a wallet. They suggest that maybe you get like a small thank you gift for the minivan driver who takes you to your Airbnb, and they suggest like maybe like a box of chocolate from the States or something like that. But we were just so frazzled during that time that we didn't even like take anything, and so I feel bad about that. So these are different things that you can think about. So you pick up the baby, and let's say that your immigration day is the very next day or maybe like a couple days later, and you have some time on your hands. If you are a first-time parent, I'm gonna let you know that babies always do much better outside. So if you stay in the hotel room or whatnot, it's just gonna be hard for him. You know, he's gonna be more fussy, so take him out as much as you can. And they have nice palaces all around, and it's just nice because it's kind of gated. And I think I explained in the first video, but you can rent han-bok, the traditional clothes, for like $15–20. And I suggest that you rent it. And you know, the agency gives a baby han-bok, right? And you can go to these palaces and take some pictures. And you know, the videographer who took the video for you, maybe he can come and take a nice family photo shoot for you. The Australian couple who were part of our group, they actually did that. They didn't rent the han-bok. I don't think they knew about that part, but they did a family photograph at like these Korean palaces, and it came out very pretty. So that's one option too. Another option is, you know, Korean kids, the first birthday is huge. And it's because back in the days, not many Korean babies made it to the first year. So when they made it to the first year, it was like the biggest celebration. It's almost like a mini wedding. So I know it sounds crazy, but Korean parents will spend thousands of dollars for the first birthday, like renting a venue. It's literally a mini wedding. Actually, some of it is better than some weddings that I've been to, okay? So it's called tor. Tor is the first birthday, and some traditional stuff that they do is they get the baby 14 karat or 18 karat like gold ring or bracelet that has his full name and birthday, something like that. The families will give that as a gift. None of our kids have that, but you know, that's the Korean culture. They also take these tour pictures, the first day pictures, and you have a very traditional spread, like a decor. And these decors, like you know, all Korean American moms do this. And so I did it with Seth, Ezra, and Levi too. And there's areas in Atlanta that I was able to rent, and all Korean moms rent it from. And they range anywhere between like $200 to $300 to rent the whole decor, the traditional Korean decor. And the prettier ones, definitely, more stylish ones are more expensive, and a little, you know, more tackier ones are a little bit more cheaper. I feel bad for Ezra's. I was like, like whatever. So I didn't want to spend that much money, and I did it. And yeah, I regret it big time because I could have just spent a little more, and then I could have done it very nicely. Levi's, even though he was 16 months when he came, we threw him one because we wanted a family picture with tour picture with the whole traditional setting. And yeah, it wasn't, it was really nice, but it wasn't cheap, okay? So when you go to Korea, you are, you know, I'm in Atlanta, so I can rent these stuff, but wherever you are, it's gonna be hard for you to rent these stuff in the States. So I suggest that when you're there, just rent these han-bok, or if you bought your han-bok, oh, by the way, if on your first trip you bought a han-bok, okay? Because you're probably non-Korean watching this, and you're probably super tall, okay? So they will measure you, and they will have your han-bok ready for you a couple weeks later. So on your second trip, you want to go and pick those up. So you can pick it up with the baby, and you can find either tour places, or you can ask the videographer or the photographer that you hire, ask them about it, and they can take you to these places, and you can have that whole traditional spread of tour and take a family picture too. And that would be a very nice like memory for him. And that's something to think about. By the way, in Korea, they have a lot of kids cafe. So what it is it's like a really nice indoor playground, but they have a cafe inside. So the kids play, and then the parents, you know, have coffee and pastries, things like that. And there's plenty of that. But I know they charge you, I think, like per 2 hour. We went to one 2 years ago. We took Seth and Ezra, and it was amazing, like better than any place I've been to the States. And so you can definitely check those out once the corona is over. With the car seats in Korea, I think the private car seat, like your family cars, you are required car seats, but the taxi cab at this point, they're not required to have car seats. So you can just hop on and hop off taxi with the babies. So that is okay. I suggest that you download a translation app on your phone, and whenever you get on the taxi or whenever you're at store, just say it into your phone and then let them hear it. So I think that'll be very helpful too. Now, on your way home, okay, so your trip is completed and you are on your way home. When you get to Incheon Airport, try to get there a little bit early, about an hour or even 2 hours beforehand. Because what you want to do is you want to try to get an exit aisle seat, or exit, you know, the international flights have 3 rows, okay? But the left and right side is the exit row, and then the middle seat, you have a little more leg room, right? And you want to get that seat. You know, we were very lucky because when we went, they saw that our passport, even though we're all Korean, they saw that David and my passport was the blue one, the American passport, and then Levi's was a green one, which was a Korean passport. They were like, oh, it's different. So we said, oh, you know, we just adopted him, and yeah, can you try to give us a good seats, because we're not sure how he's gonna handle like the flight. And they were so nice and so helpful. And you know, by the way, Korean like service is top notch wherever you go shopping or whatnot. Sometimes it can get a little bit annoying because you go in the store and you just want to look around, browse around, and they're like, what can I help you with? What can I help you with? So they're not trying to be rude. They're just trained that way to be extra, you know, service is everything in Korea. So, you know, we asked for a nice seat and they were very helpful with that. But I know that you need to get to the airport a little bit earlier for that. By the way, before you leave the States for the second trip, you have to make sure to get the baby seat. And if the baby sits on your lap, then I think you just pay like extra 25% more. But we knew with the 16-hour flight, or 14-hour, 16-hour flight, it's going to be hard. So we just got him a separate seat. So in the end, we didn't have to do that because the seats were so empty, like, you know, it's during COVID crisis. So, but I think that was so helpful. I just can't even imagine coming back with him sitting on your lap the whole time where, you know, you're trying to eat and, you know, it's just hard. So, but because we had extra seat, he was able to lay down on our lap and things like that. Incheon Airport is also very nice because, you know, when you check in, check your bags and you go inside, they actually have a separate door and separate check-in area for families with kids. And so you are not waiting in long line, you're just going straight in. Also, if your bags are over like 50 pounds or 50, I don't know, is it 50 pounds or kilograms for international flight? When you have that, at Incheon Airport, there is an area where the check-in area, if you go all the way to the left-hand side of that floor, all the way to the left-hand side, they have an area where they pack everything in the box for you. so you're not paying all these extra money. And they do it so fast, so efficient, and then you just bring it back to the chicken and then they ship it right to you, and the cost was not high at all. So that's something that you can think about. Also, tax credit. Okay, so when you go shopping in Korea, make sure you carry your passport everywhere with you. When you bargain at these places, you're not going to be able to get the tax credit, but department stores or just, you know, like different places, when you buy stuff, show them your passport and say, I want tax credit, okay? So tax in Korea means 세금, okay? So what happens is, if you are not a Korean citizen, they give you a receipt, they give you this envelope, and each shopping you save that. Once you get to the airport, you can take that, and at the airport you ask them, where can I get tax credit, tax money back? And each time it's so confusing. David and I had to go to all these different places, but it's 2 different places. You have to go to one place, they check it for you, and then the other place they give you the money. So we were able to get some money back that way. So that's also something for you to think about as well. Anyways, this was a lot of info. I hope this was helpful for you. And on your way home, make sure you have the car seat in your car if you parked your car at the airport. And yeah, if you have any questions once the baby is home, just feel free to reach out to me through Instagram, and I will do whatever I can to help you. And I really wish you the best, and I will pray for you. Thank you.